Tonight on Global TV News Prime. Brazil accords President Tinubu grand reception in Brasilia. People's Democratic Party appoints Damago as substantive national chairman. In business, Global Television shines spotlight on online loans. On the foreign scene, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney expresses support for Ukraine. Tonight in sports, Bayelsa Queens beat Ghana's Police Ladies. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe, reminding our viewers that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Let's begin tonight by telling you Brazil has rolled out full military honors at the Planalto Palace in Brasilia to receive President Bola Tinubu. President Tinubu with the Brazilian military at the Planalto Palace in Brasilia. Tinubu's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, disclosed this on his official X handle. Onanuga further said the president was welcomed by his host, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. And back home, the immediate past national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and former governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has joined hundreds of Muslim faithful at the Sheikh Hassan Gawuna Islamic Center to mark this year's Maulud celebration. The event held in Kano State drew religious leaders, scholars, politicians, and community members who gathered to commemorate the birth of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Mukhtar Qasim has details.
Dr. Ganduje, who arrived alongside APC's 2023 governorship candidate in Kano State, Dr. Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna, was warmly received by the congregation. He offered prayers for peace, unity, and continued prosperity in Kano State and Nigeria at large. Religious scholars at the event emphasized the importance of living by the Prophet's teaching, urging the faithful to imbibe values of humility, compassion, and tolerance in their daily lives. The Maulud celebration also featured Quranic recitations, lectures, and special prayers for leaders and citizens across the country. The former governor later paid condolence visits to the families in Bachirawa and Koki, where he offered prayers and sympathized with the bereaved. Ganduje, who was accompanied by party stalwarts and community leaders, offered prayers for the repose of the deceased and extended words of comfort to the bereaved families. He described the visits as a mark of solidarity and compassion, urging the families to take solace in the will of God. Residents appreciated the gesture, saying it reflects Ganduje's continued bond with the people even after leaving office. Mukhtar Qasim, reporting for Global Television News.
Oh, thank you so very much for your reporting tonight, Mukhtar. Benue State House of Assembly has elected Alfred Berger as its new speaker. He was elected at an emergency meeting following the resignation of former Speaker Aundoana Dajo, which was chaired by Lami Danladi Dorcas. Our Benue State correspondent Felicity Nderi completes the story.
Lawmakers convened an emergency sitting at the Assembly Complex in Makurdi, presided over by Deputy Speaker Lami Danladi Lawrence.
Any other nomination?
No.
We hereby declare you as the Speaker of the 10th Assembly. Congratulations to you.
The House lifted the suspension on 4 members before moving a motion for the nomination of a new Speaker.
The preceding week, the House was engulfed in crisis occasioned by attempted change in leadership. That in a bid to contain this crisis, the House suspended 4 of its members to pave way for the peaceful resolution. That the House lift the suspension of the following members to readmit them for legislative duties.
Following nominations, members of the Assembly elected Alfred Mbega, representing Makurdi North, as the new Speaker of the 10th Assembly.
It is therefore my honor to nominate our colleague, Honorable Berger Alfred Mbega, to the office of the Speaker of the 10th Benue State House of Assembly.
Honorable Alfred Mbega has now been sworn in, with expectations high on how he will steer the Assembly and maintain the delicate balance of cooperation and independence.
Well, feliciting the reader, keeping us abreast of developments on the ground in Benue State. Thank you so very much. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has officially confirmed Umara Damagun as its substantive national chairman. At its 102nd National Executive Committee meeting held in Abuja, the party resolved that Damagun, who has served as acting national chairman for over a year, be elevated to substantive chairman ahead of the National Elective Convention scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan, Oyo State. Burkina Faso and Mali have said to do not send representatives to a continental military meeting hosted by Nigeria as relations between the junta-led Sahel countries and their West African neighbors remain tense. Along with Niger, also under military rule, Mali and Burkina Faso withdrew from regional bloc ECOWAS in January after forming their own alliance of Sahel states as the battle long-running jihadist insurgencies. Niger, represented by Embassy Defense Attaché Colonel Major Sumna Kolkoye, was the only AES country at the African Defense Chiefs of Staff talks hosted in the Nigerian capital, Abuja. The federal government has warned that 9 states and 15 communities across the northern region may experience heavy rainfall that could trigger flooding between August 25 and August 29, 2025. The alert was issued by the Federal Ministry of Environment's National Flood Early Warning Center and signed by Director of the Erosion, Flood and Coastal Zone Management Department, Usman Abdullahi Bokani. The advisory says the states and communities likely to be affected include Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. It further directs residents to communities along the floodplain from Jeba to Lokoja to evacuate immediately as the river Niger's water level continues to rise. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has busted a syndicate linked to the arrest of 3 innocent Nigerian pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. At a press conference in Abuja, the agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, says the suspects conspired with airport staff to secretly tag 6 drug-laden bags in the names of 3 Nigerians who had traveled for the Lesser Hajj. Crime correspondent Kikalomo Okere has details for us.
According to the NDLEA Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, the suspects were apprehended at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, where the group allegedly planted drugs in the luggage of unsuspecting travelers. He says the victim, Miriam Hussein Abdullahi, Bahija Aminu Abdullahi, and Abdul Hamid Sadiq were arrested and detained by Saudi authorities following the discovery of the bags.
To unravel the true facts of the cases, the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of the agency caused an investigation to be conducted into the cases, and the following facts were revealed. The bags containing illicit drug substances intercepted in Saudi Arabia were checked in against the complainants' names by members of a criminal syndicate operating in Malam Aminu Kano International Airport without the knowledge of the 3 complainants. All the bags were traced to one Ali Abubakar Mohammed, alias Bello Karama.
Babafemi explained that investigation traced the crime to a 55-year-old drug baron, Mohammed Ali Abubakar, also known as Bello Karama. Several suspects have confessed, with 4 already charged to court. He added that NDLEA Chairman Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired, is in contact with Saudi authorities to secure the release of the detained Nigerians. The agency maintained that while it continued to intensify the fight against drug trafficking, it will never allow innocent citizens to be punished for crimes they did not commit.
Above reasons, the 3 complainants were arrested and detained for crimes they had no knowledge of. In the light of the foregoing and the evidence gathered by the agency in the course of our investigation, It is clear that Miriam Abdullahi and 2 others who are being detained in Saudi are victims of circumstance implicated by the activities of a criminal syndicate operating at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Makia, Kano. 6 suspected members of this criminal syndicate are already in our custody, with 4 already charged to court awaiting arraignment, while the other 2 would have their charges filed shortly.
It says the Ministry of Aviation and other security agencies are working with NDLA to block such syndicates from exploiting Nigerian airports again. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News.
So many young people are tapping into its opportunities. Some still claim they do not fully understand its potential. In this special report, Ubong Usoro completes the story.
Content creation is fast emerging as the new normal in today's communication and job spaces. From YouTube to TikTok, podcasts and blogs, youth are building careers and influencing industries. Experts say content is now more than entertainment. It has become a tool for empowerment and economic participation.
Because youths are seeing content creation as something that is new business.
Content is helping youth create jobs for themselves, even in spaces where traditional employment is shrinking. It is no longer just about likes and views. Content is the new social capital.
About a large percentage of individuals now are on their devices, their gadgets, right? So we need to accept the fact that content creation is here and here to stay.
I don't think it is so.
With content shaping marketing, advertising, education, and entertainment, stakeholders agree it is gradually redefining the job market. They emphasize that adaptability, creativity, and digital skills are now vital for survival in the modern economy. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
The Ibadan Zone of the Academic Staff Union of Universities has warned against another round of industrial actions, saying this might be inevitable if urgent steps are not taken. This warning was issued by the zonal coordinator of the union, Professor Biodun Olaniran, at a press conference held at the University of Ibadan, capital of Oyo State. He said the relative peace in Nigerian universities in recent months is largely due to the union's patience and expectation that the government would honor its promises. The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has advised the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission to retreat over its plan to upwardly review the remuneration packages of political office holders. The Commission's chairman, Mohammed Shehu, had recently disclosed that President Bola Tinubu earns 1.5 million naira, while ministers get less than 1 million naira, saying the figures have been so since 2008. However, President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, described the move as insensitive, unjust, inequitable, one he stated will only succeed in deepening the growing inequality between civil servants and political office holders. And also security matters tonight. The Nigerian Army says it has neutralized 15 terrorists, arrested 42 criminal suspects, and rescued 30 kidnapped victims in a series of recent operations across various regions of the country. The coordinated operations were reportedly carried out in the northeast, northwest, north central, southwest, and south-south zones. The troops are said to have foiled planned attacks by Islamic State's West Africa province and Boko Haram in Borno and Yobe states, specifically in the Dikwa, Goba, Bama, Banki, and Gubja areas. This is Global Television. Tonight you're watching the live broadcast of News Prime with Uyi Agmofwebe. When the rest of the broadcast returns shortly, World Aquatics awards prestigious scholarships to 2 Nigerian swimmers. We have those details from the world of sports as well as business and foreign stories for you on the other side of this short break. Please don't go away. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. The second part of these broadcasts now returns with business. Online loans have become a quick and convenient fix for millions of people facing financial distress. But how safe are they? As digital lending platforms expand, so do the risks. Our correspondent Sadia Yakubu takes a closer look at the promises, the pitfalls, and real costs of borrowing with just a few clicks.
It's the new phase of borrowing instant cash, no collateral, no paperwork and approval in minutes. For people with poor credit, limited bank access or urgent needs, online loans are marketed as a lifeline. Most fall under payday or short-term installment loan. The speed is attractive, but the reality often comes with sky-high interest rates, hidden fees and tight payment deadlines that can trap borrowers in a cycle of debt.
It's good from my own side because it's easy to access, you get, so when you can operate, so it's easy to access and easy to pay back.
The rise of unregulated or loosely regulated lenders, especially in developing countries, is raising alarm. Watchdog agencies say complaints about data abuse and harassment are steadily climbing.
Getting an online loan, that loan, even if you don't want to get it, there's this temptation that they will send to you. And you will even be tempted to even get it. So once you enter their trap and you get the loan from them, in fact, you get from the first time you get it, you've already entered into their trap.
Most times the side effects are the interest the bank or the organization puts on the masses or the citizens. Most times they put an interest that people cannot afford and cannot even make up.
Beyond that, some loan apps demand access to personal data, including contacts, messages, and photos, creating a major invasion of privacy. Consumer groups say this data is sometimes misused to shame borrowers into repayment.
Online loans may be a quick solution, but for many, they can become a long-term burden. If you are considering one, research carefully and protect your personal information. I am Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television.
Well, being circumspect and cautious, as well as being financially disciplined, I'm sure those are the highlights from this report. We are deeply grateful for this in-depth analysis tonight, Sadia Yakubu. Still talking business, the Rural Electrification Agency says many rural communities across Nigeria now enjoy stable electricity supply through completed mini-grid projects, with some residents paying higher tariffs than Band A customers. Managing Director of the agency, Abba Aliyu, made this known during an interview where he explained that the electricity model deployed in rural areas has not only provided reliable supply, but also demonstrated the willingness of rural dwellers to pay for power. Tonight we go to the foreign scene for you, where Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has expressed support for Ukraine's calls for security guarantees as part of any peace deal with Russia, including the possibility of deploying troops to the Eastern European country. During a visit to Kiev, where he met Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, Carney said a group of Ukraine's Western allies, known as the Coalition of the Willing, is working with the United States to bolster Ukrainian defenses. Standing alongside President Zelensky, Mark Carney reassured the people of Ukraine of Canada's support in its war with Russia, making clear that Russia's invasion of Ukraine is an attempt at rewriting history and peace will come through strength.
Canada is under no illusions about the importance of your struggle, and you should have no doubts about the commitment of Canadians to your cause, because your cause, freedom, democracy, sovereignty, is our cause. And your history informs our history. We see this war clearly as a horrific act of aggression, a maniacal quest to recreate a history that itself was filled with injustice. And we know that peace will only come through strength.
Prime Minister Kani stated that the alliance of countries working against what he called Putin's aggression in Ukraine is becoming more effective and united.
But Putin can be stopped. Russia's economy is weakening. He is becoming more isolated. And our alliance is hardening. It's growing more effective, more determined, more united. I applaud the leadership of the transformative U.S. President Donald Trump in creating the possibilities for peace.
With the war already having claimed tens of thousands of lives, hopes for a ceasefire on the ground, however, remain dim as Kiev and Moscow continue to exchange fire. Uyi Agmofwegbe reporting for Global TV News. The United Nations Security Council is set to vote on a France-drafted resolution that would extend the mandate of the United Nations interim force in Lebanon until August 31, 2026, while preparing for its eventual withdrawal. Deployed in 1978 to separate Israel and Lebanon, the unit has been tasked with maintaining calm in southern Lebanon. The latest draft text says the Security Council intends to work on a withdrawal of the unit with the aim of making the Lebanese government the sole provider of security in its own southern region. The United States has confirmed its first human case of New World screwworm, a parasitic fly whose larvae feed on living flesh in a Maryland residence recently returned from El Salvador, where an outbreak is ongoing. As reported by Reuters on Sunday, the patient began showing symptoms shortly after returning and was diagnosed on August 4, 2025, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Let's turn to sports for you tonight. World Aquatics, the global governing body for swimming, has awarded international training scholarships to two of Nigeria's rising stars in the sport, Clinton Opute of Delta State and Collins Ebenga of Bayelsa State. The scholarships, announced as part of World Aquatics Elite Development Program, are designed to provide access to world-class training facilities in Europe and prepare the athletes for major international competitions, including the Olympic Games. The program details indicate that Clinton's Ebenga scholarship will run from September 1, 2025 to August 31, 2026, while Clinton Opute's training grant will extend from September this year until June 30, 2028 in France and Hungary, respectively. Nigeria's Toby Amusa and Favor Ofili have officially qualified for the 2025 Wanda Diamond League final, set to take place next weekend at the prestigious Wetlekes meeting in Zurich. Ofili, who joined the Diamond League circuit at the 9th stop of the 15-leg series, secured the final qualifying spots in the women's 200-meter event. The 21-year-old accumulated 13 points to finish 8th overall, earning her place among the elite field. Tonight, we end Global TV News Prime with a look at some of our big stories. Brazil has rolled out full military honors at the Planalto Palace in Brasilia to receive President Bola Tinubu. In business, online loans have become a quick and convenient fix for millions of people facing financial distress. On the foreign scene, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has expressed support for Ukraine's calls for security guarantees. And finally, in sports tonight, we told you Nigeria's Women's Football League Premiership champions Bayelsa Queens have opened their campaign in the CAF Women's Champions League WAFU B qualifiers with a 2-1 victory over Ghana's Police Ladies at the Stade Charles Konan Bani in Yamoussoukro in Côte d'Ivoire. And that's Global TV News Prime tonight. Thank you so very much for watching. Remember that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Engage and follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. On behalf of my colleagues who have made these news broadcasts possible, I am Uyi Agmofwegbe, thanking you so very much and saying have a good night.